Magma, thank you so much for the 101 bids. Hype train investing. Why, thank you for investing into my hype train. Stuff's happening. Stuff's happening. Whoa. Holy trailer? What is happening?
Kepler. You've never been there.
Huh?
And you know every inch of it. It's the farthest either of us have been from home. In distance or in time. You're gonna get a
Whoa!
an invitation only you can answer. And you'll say yes.
The art ball!
They arranged it so you would never say no.
Oh, that was epic!
Choice is real.
Door.
And every choice you make will lead you here. To who you're supposed to be.
What? Wait, is that the raid? Was that the raid? Wait, this is sick! Wait, what? I was so confused because they showed like a phone. We don't have phones in Destiny 2.
Hello, welcome to Bungie. Welcome back for our second live stream for The Edge of Fate.
That
What
was
you just
epic.
saw was our launch trailer. We are 14 days away from launch. Yeah, 2 weeks. Pretty insane. Today we're going to be talking about what activities are on Kepler. What can you expect from world tiers as you're going through for replayability? And to introduce that, we actually have a wonderful human being on the couch next to me. Did I introduce myself? My name's Dylan. Hi. Your name is Robbie. Hello. Let's actually get a real introduction for you. How you doing?
Hey Dylan, it's great to be here. I'm the assistant game director for Destiny 2, and I focus on working with the broad Destiny 2 team and creating this game for our players and charting a new course to some new frontiers here with The Edge of Fate. Just 14 days away. It's crazy.
right?
It's awesome. Yeah.
I keep telling folks
We
on
love
the team, it's like, we got
Robbie.
14 days.
Let's
and they're like, wait, huh? It's
go.
already here? So today we're going to be looking at Kepler. Can you give us a quick overview? What are we going to be looking at?
Yeah, so we're going to be looking at some of the free roam experience on Kepler, and we're also going to be taking a sneak peek at the end of one of our campaign missions that is replayable in the post game after you complete the campaign of the Kepler experience. We're also going to be talking here about our world tiers a little bit, which we've talked a little bit about in the stream, and we're going to talk about a lot more here today. And so what we're showing on screen right now is the world tier difficulty selector that's on the destination. And so right now we're in the Fabled difficulty, and so Brave and Legendary, you can play through the campaign, you can play through the main quest, the story of the release, and Brave or Legendary, doesn't matter. But after you do that, you're going to unlock Fabled and Mythic difficulties. Now, the difference here, though, is with these difficulties, power is fully
Looks
enabled.
scary.
And so that means when you step out of either Brave or Legendary, you're going to probably be able to do Fabled. Most people will be able to do Fabled. Some people might need a Fire Team. But if you want to play Mythic, you're really going to have to climb Power. And the difficulty really escalates, and then the gear gets better. And so if you're hunting for that, that tier 2+, 3, 4 loot, right, you're going to be needing to play and Fabled Mythic to find those
Killer.
higher tier loot. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get some combat going. Really quick, what is the state of our fire team? You were mentioning we're in Fabled, so this is going to be after they've already done their first playthrough.
Yeah, so this fire team has played the Legendary campaign. Right now, they are inside of the Gorge, which is one of our 4 major regions of Kepler, and they are in free roam right now. And they are going through one of our free roam encounters. And so the other thing I should call out here is within these free roam encounters,
It's pale.
there
It's
are
giving me
reasons
pale
to
heart vibes.
basically go back through the destination using your new abilities in new ways. And so Sorry, can you ask me that question one more time? Like, I feel like I answered it, but then I segued into something else.
I said, what state is our fire team in? Post-campaign?
Yeah. We're post-campaign. Sorry, thank you. Yeah, we're hunting higher tier loot and gear here on the destination, and they're also doing some of our post-game quests. So both Fabled and Mythic have their very own quest associated with them as part of the post-game. One part of like
click on the Bungie stream to
seal,
get the
earn some
emblem.
exclusive cosmetics and emblems, but also these world quests unlock some additional loot in the game as well. So specifically the Mythic quest that's associated with that world tier unlocks a variant armor set for the Kepler armor. So as you're playing through the campaign and throughout the experience, there's a 2 and 4 set piece bonus on the Kepler armor set. Once you complete that Mythic world tier quest, you unlock a variant of that has a different set bonus and a unique shader on it as well.
Awesome. Yeah, and for folks that you didn't tune in last week or you haven't heard about gear tiers, set bonuses, we have a full blog article that went live last week. Go ahead, visit that, check it out. So when we're looking at this this activity, this is going to be a free roam mission, right?
Yes.
And these take place in places that are regions on the destination.
Yes.
Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, so I talked about it a little bit before, but this is the Gorge, and so the Vex have actually put a big security lockdown on this entire region on side of Kepler. So the fire team right now is like basically like breaking through this security lockdown. And so each of these regions feature multiple of these major encounters, is kind of what we call them, these free roam encounters. And these are kind of like the scale. Ooh, just got try to get through that security grid and you did not make it. Yeah. Each of these major encounters we have are kind of like the size of like roughly like a lost sector, but ultimately they're more complex. They have more mechanics. That you have to use the destination abilities to solve some simple puzzles and encounters inside of them.
Puzzles?
And generally they have like pretty thick combat, especially on like the Fabled difficulty as well, where we start adding more enemies, tougher enemies, and also there are Banes that are applied in the world tiers 2 that are actually exclusive to Kepler. They were built specifically for this content.
That's awesome. Yeah, and then as you're going through these sorts of free roam activities and exploring Kepler, what other like side objectives or objectives can pop up?
Yeah, so the way we kind of are thinking about this, right, like a lot of this outside of doing the seal, the triumphs, and things like that, and mysteries and secrets, which we can talk about here in a minute, a little bit more, is like it's about gear pursuit, right? It's about earning that higher tier gear, chasing power, and so the way we constructed these regions, there's these free roam major encounters, there's tougher enemies that appear, there's HVTs that pop up, there's destination materials to loot, and there's this material called a faded cipher as well, and so you're going to be combining destination materials that you get from basically doing almost anything inside of the region alongside faded ciphers in order to be able to purchase specific items at the destination vendor called the Altar of Relativity at the center.
That's a lot of names and words.
Lots of proper nouns.
If you didn't catch this, I know there are going to be breakdowns. We'll have a recap in the TWID, but yeah, continue.
Yeah, and so like what's cool about this is that in the post game, like there's a focus that we created, and so basically through the vendor you can go and look at it and be like, okay, today's focus is the Gorge, which the fire team is looking at today. Most of the materials that you're earning here can be used to purchase gear, or you can convert your other materials you might have from other regions in order to convert it into the Gorge materials to buy stuff. But every day it's going to shift. That daily focus is going to shift. And so a little bit later in the stream, we're going to be seeing a part of Exile's Accord, which we've also some of our content creators and influencers showed as well, and some of their content parts of it. But basically, of the 4 major regions, the daily focus will shift day over day to basically kind of change what you're focused on, what gets you access to that direct purchase loot.
These flying Vex look
Since
terrifying.
we're on the topic of rewards, you were talking about like the currencies and the vendor. Yeah. You had mentioned before the stream, actually, there's a new form of attunement for the destination as well.
Yeah, so something that was really important to us was like it just, we want to make playing what we call like the action game, like actually experiencing free roam like this and the mission content, like when you earn that piece of loot on Kepler as you're completing these activities and just got nuked.
No, I'm so happy that they're dying, because they were like, this won't be too hard, and it's like, oh, world tiers? Let's introduce them at a higher difficulty, shall we?
Yeah.
But sorry, go ahead.
No, exactly. Yes, this is Fabled pushing back a little bit. They're having to think about what they do, and they just used actually Mattermorph in order to open up a pathway to get around this Vex grid that opened up in the middle of the encounter. But anyway, we were talking specifically, I'm sorry, remind me.
Attunement.
Attunement, thank you. Yeah, so basically, you're going to be able to attune at the vendor a specific piece of gear, armor, or weapon, and any drop on Kepler that drops a piece of armor or weapon will have a chance to be that gear. We just wanted to make sure that as you're playing through the destination, as like you're carving your own path, you're figuring out your own farm routes inside of each of these 4 regions each day of the week. We wanted to make sure that, like, hey, if you're looking for the Giver, that auto rifle that's coming with the Edge of Fate here on Kepler, it's like you have a chance to get it anytime a piece of loot drops.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's
you had
awesome.
mentioned just a minute ago about secrets and the depth of the destination.
Drop
I mean,
is
I'd love to hear-
active.
yeah,
you
go ahead,
have to be in
expand
a
on that.
bungee
Yeah, so
string
like
to get
it's
the
funny
drop.
with like secrets and mysteries,
It
like
is
you
not
want to talk
active
about it a
here.
little bit, but like not too much
No
to like
spoilers, right?
like spoil it.
Yeah.
But I think
15
like
minutes
the
in
thing,
the
the
bungee
thing to
string.
the thing to scratch at here in Pokat here is right is like we've talked about the destination abilities a few times, and so with the world tiers and the fabled and mythic difficulties throughout the destination, there are secrets and mysteries, like basically all these little alcoves, these little locations, these side paths, these hidden rooms, all throughout the destination that you can go and discover. And there's a lot available just within the campaign experience. Like if you want to play through the campaign and take it like really slow, and as you earn abilities and look around, you're going to find a lot of mysteries to solve. But we also wanted to make sure that in those higher world tiers and fabled and mythic, that it felt like this expanding expansion of that content that you have. And it's basically like, hey, you have even more abilities than ever. You can now peel back the onion of this world to discover what's at the core of it. And so we really wanted to make sure that it felt like there was just more and more to dive into the more you unlocked inside of the post game.
It's giving me
Yeah,
like
So in our rehearsals, we never
vibes of the
managed to
activity
get this
with, like,
perfect timing,
trench
but we have
ran,
perfect
whole
timing.
breach and all
I would love to shift to campaign. We're going to be taking you about midway through campaign mission here. A quick note for the audience: if you're avoiding spoilers, we have disabled our VO. We have disabled our subtitles. We're trying to keep this so you are discovering the story as it comes out with the Edge of Fate and our new saga. So as they're getting loaded into that, I'd love to ask you just a couple more questions about free roam in the regions.
Yes.
What other things can happen in regions outside of campaign?
Hellion is hitting
so
hard.
one of the
Yeah.
big things that happens inside of these regions are side quests, which we've only talked a little bit about.
Hellion
And
exotic armor piece.
these are basically ways that flesh out more of the characters of the world, more of the stories of the people and of the place, and what's happening on Kepler and what's been happening with them before and what might be happening to them in the future. And basically what happens is as you're completing these regions as part of the campaign and you kind of start to unlock more of them, these side quests will start to become available. And so these side quests are available to you at any time. So again, like I was kind of mentioning earlier, like you can either take it really, really slow and take a really long time to get through everything the release has to offer, or you can just like beeline the main quest, beeline the critical path, and then when you get into the higher level world tiers, all of these side quests are now available to you. As we've been like play testing and closing out the Edge of Fate here, it's been really interesting to watch different developers and people play test the content. Myself and Blake Battle, one of our executive producers, he and I we're just like beelining it, right?
Yeah.
And then we get to the end and we like pop up in that and we're like, look at all these quests to do, while other people like want to take their time
Yeah.
and like experience like the full
That's
story
really
of
cool.
every single
I
little
like
piece.
that.
So
the
yeah, we're
destination
actually
has to offer.
we're getting into the campaign right now. And speaking of beelining, we've seen a ton of questions about getting raid race ready. So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
raid race is going to be coming out on the Saturday after launch. I believe it's the 19th of July.
Yeah.
What difficulty should players play at to get ready for race?
Yeah, so if you want to be power ready for the contest mode race for the Edge of Fate, you're going to want to play the Legendary campaign. And so when you step out of the Legendary campaign, you will be power ready at that point. Now, if you're gear ready, that's up to you, right? It's like how far you want to go down that rabbit hole.
And that dovetails into like replayability for the
Deep.
story missions and the campaign
All
missions,
the
and how
way.
that bakes into world tiers.
Yes,
right.
getting that higher tier loot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when something that was like really important to us when we were thinking about replayability and what like aspiration means within an expansion, we really wanted to change some of the formula. Like we wanted to take some of the formula that we think works well, but also change other pieces of it. And one of the really big goals for us was just giving you more reasons and just easier ways to play just some of the best content we built. This
do
campaign mission
legendary
is at the end of the Exiles Accord region. This fire team is taking down a giant Exiles prime servitor who's running some of the Archon's dark matter operations. Sorry, all minor spoilers.
No, it's cool. Life is probably jotting this down, getting ready for a lore dump about the Fallen, all that kind of stuff.
But this is a really fun multi-phase boss encounter that they're orbiting around this giant servitor, and we really wanted to set something up that this doesn't just was a one and done kind of thing. And so things we've kind of done before that we're going back to that we think work well, there's going to be multiple weekly missions that you can play that are larger missions. So we have a capstone mission for each of our regions. We also have some bookends at the beginning and end of the release that the overall length of them and complexity, they are very similar to legendary campaign experiences from the past. So something new that we did though for this release though is we also have a bunch of additional story missions that take place during the campaign and you're first introduced to. These are shorter experiences, but they still have huge impact on the story, moving the story of the main quest into Kepler 4, and also help you to unlock different abilities and things throughout it. And so in the post game, in the higher level, in the world tiers, we actually have a story mission playlist where you can go in and it's like a rotator and you're rotating through a bunch of different randomly selected story missions that are about 10 to 15 minutes. Some people can, if you're going really fast, can get them down a little bit shorter. And those missions are actually one of the best sources of those faded ciphers that I was talking about earlier. And so the other thing I mentioned earlier too is we have specific quests for both Fabled and Mythic, and these quests are going to take you through some of the big campaign missions, again, to experience them with new modifiers, because we're curating modifiers and banes and things like that every single week on the destination to have a little bit more of a curated experience, but then also those quests introduce some new encounters as well. And so, sorry, I'm going a little bit all over the place. I mean, some of this, there's just so much information, so much to talk about, but the thing
I appreciate all the information.
Here is we wanted to give you really strong incentives to go in and play the free roam experience, to extract materials, to play our story mission playlist. It's called the time lapse mission playlist, to earn faded ciphers, but then also to have reasons to go in and replay some of our biggest campaign missions again through the weekly missions playlist, kind of like the heroic stuff we've had in the past.
There's
and
a bunch of
the
stuff
stream
to play.
Last week we talked
Not
about
gonna
how
lie.
as you're unlocking the destination abilities, you carry those forward after the post game, so you can go in and replay and then have some of these things available, right?
Yeah, that's a really good note, and thank you for hitting on that. The way we designed this content was the campaign slowly stepped you into these different abilities and unlocking different versions of them and higher tier versions of them. When you're in the post-game experience, we intentionally designed puzzles and encounter mechanics and things, and even in this boss encounter, there's multiple times that they've had to use Matter Spark to get into the vents and stuff below this area and pop up through the world. And through the campaign, you would actually have to go and find a Matter Spark pad to activate that, and that's actually kind of part of the puzzle. It's teaching you to kind of look at the world and think about the world in a different way. That is intentional. But then in the post game, as soon as you complete the campaign, you unlock Matter Spark anywhere, and it's basically your souped up sparrow for the destination, and being able to summon Matter Spark anywhere means you can actually sequence break some of our puzzles and sequence break part of our missions, and that was entirely intentional as a part of the design. And to be honest, Dylan, the fun part about this too is we're not 100% sure in some ways where people might sequence breaks things that we might not expect, but that was intentional from the design perspective. That, we want people to be able to do that.
It's the magic of the sandbox and Destiny.
I wonder what kind
of
of oobs people are going to find with it.
This ability with this destination ability with this combatant,
the
et
pasta
cetera,
is
et
super
cetera.
tanky.
So, I think I would love to ask you as well. So we've gotten a lot of questions from players where they're like, "Oh, you had mentioned this is comparable to a Rise of Iron." How does that actually break down when we look at the Edge of Fate and Kepler? You had mentioned depth and secrets and a bunch of different things. So.
Yeah. So I think you and I were talking about this in rehearsal a little bit, where that comparison is just to give us a ballpark of where we want to be. But at the end of the day, it's apples and oranges between what the Edge of Fate is and what Rise of Iron is. So when we've talked about that, we've generally been speaking towards the size of this destination and the depth of the campaign and post-game experience. This is one of the deepest destinations we've ever built before, and that is why we've been making that comparison to Rise of Iron in that way. But also in terms of being a little bit bigger. But also the game is very different today, right? We have an entire portal, we have an entire
yeah.
offering that is there with a bunch of new content, new gear, new things to do. We have the raid with the Edge of Fate, obviously, but then we have the epic raid coming in the major update with Ash and Iron, which we'll talk about more in the future. That just it permutes and expands the raid and expands on the story of the raid. It is new content.
Yeah.
We're not holding anything
The
back for
emotes
the
on
base
screen.
raid to build that experience. And so, again, the Rise of Iron to Edge of Fate, little bit apples and oranges, but we also are thinking about like the collective packages of what comes with this release, because the game is very different from what it was like back.
So we have the free roam missions, we have campaign, we
I
have
love
secrets, we
this
have
so
a lot of
much. It's
questing,
so
that kind of
funny.
stuff.
Yeah.
I'd love, before we wrap up with our campaign mission, to talk a bit about what else players can expect in terms of a destination activity.
Yeah, so we've seen y'all talking about it. Like we hear y'all, and this is one of those things where like we wanted to hold this back for it to be like a surprise and delight moment for everyone when it appeared on the destination in the post game. But yeah, let's just talk about it a little bit. So there is a destination activity on Kepler.
Yay!
It is. I'm not going to name it here. I just want y'all to see it when
They
the game
wanted
goes
it
live.
to be a surprise.
And part of that is because like it does relate to some of the story inside of the campaign, especially near the end. And so we wanted to be careful to not unintentionally spoil something if we showed too much of that activity. But anyway, the way to think about it is like it's kind of its own thing. It's kind of unique, but it's kind of a blend of activities like Vex Incursion and Wellspring. And so this is a match-made activity with 3 players. You're going to be using some of your destination abilities and some really chaotic horde mode inspired elements, but there's also some mechanical elements and there's some boss encounters. But it's going to be one of the best places actually to earn rerolls of the exotic armor that's coming to the Edge of Fate that you get from the Legendary campaign. And it's just highly rewarding in general. And so because we wanted to make this activity really rewarding, it is also technically time limited. But on the Kepler map, near the center of the map, there's going to be basically a preview that tells you, like, hey, when does the activity become available? So you're going to know exactly when you can jump into the destination activity in order to like focus
That's
farm
really
those
cool.
things that you care
And you
about
can
the most.
like it makes
Well,
sure it
thank you
drops
so much
those
for your time.
featured
We've already
items
wrapped
that are
up our
currently
campaign mission,
really good
and now we're actually
for
going to be moving
like,
over to
the
Portal,
first part
Power
of the
Progression.
Edge of
So
Fate
Robbie,
stuff.
thank you, chat.
World
Thank
tier
Robbie for
raise.
joining us today. And now we're going to swap some folks in. We'll see you next time.
See you later,
Do we have
guys.
some
Thanks.
applause to
Thanks so much.
Robbie?
All right. So
Ooh.
as we are swapping out, I want to talk about these 2 new exotic weapons that we see on the screen. You saw some of this in our gameplay preview that we just had. We also had some creators, influencers, that kind of stuff coming in and speaking to the hand cannon and the scout rifle. Hand cannon is going to be through an exotic quest on Kepler. No spoilers there. But the team was talking about, oh, hey, here is our overall goal for the weapon. It's for those who are looking for the perfect 3-tap. As for the Void Scout Rifle, that's going to be a part of our new rewards pass. This is just, I'm not going to spoil that either. There are some reviews from our sandbox-minded creators. It's a fun time. So, all right, let's move on to Portal, Power, and Progression. And I just looked at our 3 new guests in that order. Hello,
FC.
welcome.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, a couple of you are new, but we'll start with you, Ben.
Excuse
How
me.
you doing?
Sorry.
I'm doing great, Dylan. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. For those who didn't see you on our reveal stream or previous Vidocs, can you give a quick overview? Who are
Thank
you? What
you
you
for
do?
the blessings.
I am
Thank you,
Ben
thank you.
I am the core game creative director. I am the one like helping all the teams that are making the core experience and all the components in the portal and,
I don't mean
and Edge
to
of Fate
talk
as well,
over the stream.
like worked well together and like pushed the game forward into like this great new foundation. I'm really excited to talk about it.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah.
Next on the couch, brand
I
new
was
to
just
our
thinking
chair.
with the
You've
launch
never been on
trailer.
anything, so first time you are meeting the community. Everyone in chat, say hello. Nutty, welcome.
Hi, I'm Nutty. I'm one of our sandbox ability designers. That pretty much means that I work with Vivian and Eric, who were here last week, to develop anything that the player is doing outside of armor, weapons, and combatants. So today I'm going to talk about all the modifiers and additional banes that we've been working on.
Awesome. Last but not least, we got Alan Blaine. How you doing?
Hey, great. How you doing, Dylan?
Oh, you asked me how I am? Thank you so much. really quick introduction for everybody out there watching. Who are you? What do you do?
Sure. Hi, I'm Alan. I'm a principal designer, and for the last year, I've been leading the team that's been taking all the cool Banes and modifiers Nutty's team is working on and combining them in a UI with all the activities from the activities team, both new and returning activities, making sure that you get good score while you're playing those activities, and then that score turns into loot with cool seasonal power and gear tiers and all the great stuff that you're looking for.
What if we are time traveling back
so
to the fall
we have
of
some
Earth
content
and a
on
great
screen.
collapse?
This is what players
That
are
would
going to
be
see when they
sick,
sign
Pat.
in on day one, and this is our introduction to the portal. Ben, I would love
That'd be
to
so
get just a
awesome.
quick overview for those who may have missed that reveal stream. Like, what is this space? What are we aiming for?
Yeah, so the portal is very exciting. We had this
Y'all are
vision
so
of making
funny.
a new front page for the game for Destiny 2. And so we really want to make as much as we could available, like just in a couple clicks, and not having to dig down to find the content that is new or featured, or like you're being your friends are playing, or something like convenient that you really want to like go to a lot. Like we have a button for the tower that's right there, fastest you can get into. We also have Edge of Fate in the upper corner, of course, which is like the new expansion for the launch right here. We have this huge like quick launch panel in the lower right that is rotating between new activities, like probably the fastest you can play Destiny ever, aside from right when you like start for a very first like new character.
I mean, it's
gonna
really
let you just,
cool,
like,
I feel
hit and play
like.
something
Very
right away with, like, no delay.
organized.
And then we have actually a very like nested depth there with all the ops categories on the left, which are all the different kinds of things you
It's
can play in
very
the portal
organized.
that are hooking to
I feel
all
like
these
it's easier to
systems
find
that,
stuff.
that Alan and
But I'm
Nate
gonna
talked about.
miss.
Awesome. Yeah, really
I'm gonna
quick,
miss
I'd
our
love to go
original
just line by
destination
line,
page. I'm gonna
for
miss the
solo, Fire Team,
planets.
Pinnacle, and Crucible Ops. Give them an introduction.
Yeah. So solo
It's
ops
still gonna be
is,
there,
like
but it's
a
not gonna be
new
like the
thing that we're
home
doing,
screen
near the Fate
anymore.
launch and for the core game.
I miss it
These
already.
have activities that are designed to be played by solo players. They're only one-person fire teams, and they're intended to be content that if you just like have a few minutes, like 10, 15 minutes to play Destiny, and you want to go on and like feel satisfied about your time, get some great loot, you're going to go to solo ops and like have that opportunity. It's going to be like a really great, concise like experience. We're also like if you don't want to have like the think about having a fire team for some content as well, you can be assured that this stuff is designed to be played by one player. And so it's like, it's going to have challenges, going to have difficulty and modifiers and such you can customize and really great loot to get. But it's a challenge for you, individual. And we think that's really exciting, like alternative.
It's very
to some stuff in the
organized, but I'm
past.
gonna
It felt
have
like
to
you,
like play
I wanna
around
play,
with
but I
it
don't
a
have
little
any
bit
friends,
to
or
actually get used to everything.
I'm trying to find someone I have a lot of time, and we have another like niche for
There's a lot going on these screens.
Yeah, awesome. And then next up, we have Fire Team Ops.
Yes, Fire Team Ops. So, like, just talking about fire teams, like, quintessential Destiny is playing with two other players, a fire team of 3, right? And so we have all of the activities in Fire Team Ops are a 3-player fire team.
You kidnapped
We have, like,
Petra?
classic strikes
What the
in
frick,
there.
Rebel?
have,
We need Petra!
Like, missions from past expansions, like in Europa, like the Empire hunts. We also have, like, onslaughts are in here.
Hawaiian
We actually
can't
scroll
find
down more.
Petra.
There it is, the coil. So past seasonal activities
Hi,
coming
Beard,
back.
thank you.
And like integrating with all the systems we've been talking about that we're going to talk more about, so that they're like available for you to get new loot in, to work on your power climb, to basically just like have a great time in whichever way you want to.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, since we're already in the screen, let's go ahead and get our fire team set up with our activity. What are we playing today, Nutty?
We were going to do the Dark Priestess Empire hunt.
Awesome. So here, I'm actually going to pass the mic over to you and Alan. Let's get some bands, some modifiers, all that kind of stuff set up. Really quick, can you introduce each of these sections for the different modifiers, and then we'll go and kind of
Yes,
pick and choose what we
please.
want?
For sure.
Holy
so we're starting
screen,
at,
this is very
master
confusing.
activity, and this is 300 combatant power. The first row there that has all the selectable icons that you can change are challenge modifiers. These are things that will increase the combatant power and add some additional difficulty to it. The first one is our Banes. So here you decide what Banes are going to show up, and we paired all of them as like 2 combos that either work well together or at least interesting. Today we'll do Threaded and Caltrops. So Threaded is where as you damage the combatant, it will spawn threadlings, and when it dies, it will throw out a few more threadlings at the same time. And Caltrops is a void area that gets spawned near you, like between you and the combatant, and then when it dies, it throws out another one. So something to make it so you either need to get up in the air or keep going through.
So
Wow.
starting with retaliation.
Brand new
If I die,
bangs. They're
you're
kind of
coming with me.
interesting.
Pretty much. All right, next up, what do we got?
It's so
Yeah, let's do
organized
subtle foes. So
and beautiful.
this
I won't
just makes
lie.
it so that when some of
But
the enemies are far
very
away from you, they
confusing.
will be invisible, and that helps them get into close range. Or if you are using a long-range loadout, you won't be able to deal with them as much. So you might want to bring some close range.
And
or
they're like very invisible. Not like,
yeah, not like a little bit of player stuff,
What?
but just like you don't see them.
Yeah, you really have to like, pay attention to see them from long range.
What else?
They're
do we do?
very invisible.
Yeah, let's do glass cannon. So glass cannon is kind of a fire team equalizing one where it only punishes the person who's doing the best. So if you have that buddy that clears the strike ahead of you or is getting all of the kills, well, we're actually going to give him a debuff where he will just take more incoming damage. And if you are a little bit closer with your friends, then that's actually a catch-up opportunity where maybe you take over the kill lead and now you're the one suffering a little bit. And
Good thing
So if I'm playing through
good
this
thing I
activity and I'm
throw.
stealing all of your
Good thing I
kills,
throw. I will never
I'm
get a
putting
debuff.
a bit of a debuff on
I'm the
myself.
thrower.
right.
Taking
Nice.
one for the team.
Yeah,
That means I
And maybe
can't
I'm letting you
carry.
finish a few of those.
Yeah. All right.
What else? Let's do one more. Chill touch. Yeah, so we were talking about getting the enemies into melee. So this will make it if they hit you in melee, you will suffer a stasis debuff.
Oh,
and, slow down.
hell no.
And that pushes
Getting
the power all the way up
slowed?
to 360. And those things are also increasing the potential score that you can receive from this, and the score is what drives the reward.
Right. So you see right here when we picked Chill Touch, the gear tier you're going to earn went from tier 2 to tier 3 for this activity. So it's really important to pay attention to what you're earning.
Yeah, so you know what you're going to be getting if you choose that
I
score.
see it.
Yeah.
You see how it has
and
a
this
1?
is like
Yeah.
we've talked about this
Tier 3,
last
1, 2,
week on
3.
stream about approachability and making it easier for players to understand as they're getting in. So a lot of UI treatment. Shout out to our teams that have been doing this to show you combatant power and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, tons of love and passion went into that.
seriously.
Yeah, so let's look at player stakes. Oh, do you want to take this?
There's
So
more.
player stakes are the next category down, and they're more about the player's interface with the game itself. So things like locked loadout, we have no HUD is an ability that we added here. So you can play with no HUD for a little extra score bonus. And these are things that are really sort of letting you sort of tie one arm behind
Wait,
your
this
back
is
while you're playing. It's
cool.
not making the combatants more powerful. It's changing how you're playing the game. You can start with no ammo. You can start with locked loadout. We'll be putting some more player stakes in Ash and Iron. Yeah.
Yeah, I love no HUD.
Dude,
So
I'm
they're
gonna
good
do
to
my
have for
GMs like
strategy.
that.
No, you can have no.
Okay, I'll do
That's
no HUD.
so
You go first.
fun.
I just wanted to have us move on
No
to the next bit because
ammo?
we talked about
Okay.
tying
No
ammo
HUD?
back.
Let's talk about no HUD later. Go ahead.
GMs with no HUD
in
would go
the next
hard.
bit, this is what you get to do with your other
Oh,
hand.
yeah.
So here are the things that benefit you. Let's try Livewire. This one is one of my favorite. It's a combination of the sprint for amplified that you had in the Nether, along with inherent ACDC feedback fence. So we buffed up the enemy's melee capability that hopefully they'll get up and punch you. Well, now if they do, we're just going to shock them with lightning. So I'm kind of balancing out that additional challenge that we added and a different benefit that will kind of counter that.
Sammy
and make
Cat
it so it's actually a
inspired.
little bit
The
easier
no
for me.
HUD. Oh yeah.
What else can we do? Healing finishers are great. Just another way to get back health, or if you go in for that finisher and take damage on the way, that you'll be able to fill back up. And let's do one more. And sure, hypercritical is pretty fun. This one is actually a little bit tough because it makes it so that the enemies will take less non-precision damage, but more precision damage. So as long as you're hitting your shots, it's easier.
Awesome. And then Ben, we actually
Just hit the
we noticed this
shots.
a bit earlier. There's one more modifier up at the top, and that's actually limited time, right?
Yeah. So this is a accelerator that this is a double bonus focus. So you're gonna second drop from the bonus focus activities. So this is we will have given the calendar different accelerators that are on for a given week or day that will apply to the whole portal and have different benefits. And we're also going to have more of those for events and other things going on in the game to give you kind of another fresh twist or incentive to see what's going on in the game and get some
This is
a good
actually
time. Realize
sick.
that is a good time to play because we're trying to make every day a good time to play Destiny.
Yeah, I think one of the modifiers we
What?
saw during our
There used to be a
rehearsal was
strike system
bonus
like
to
this?
syrups
I guess we're
weapons,
going
too.
back?
So it's a bit of
Really?
there
Wait,
can be
was
loot
this in
bonuses,
Destiny
there
1?
can be gameplay bonuses of more power behind certain weapon
That's
archetypes.
so
It's pretty fun.
cool.
So stay tuned to our calendars. We'll definitely sound off when it's a week of a cool theme. Let's get it launched
Wait,
in
did you?
and actually start
I don't
taking on
remember
some of
this
this
at
combat.
all.
Can I talk about no HUD now?
Oh yeah, please.
Okay, so they aren't going to show no HUD because it'd be confusing, I think, on the stream. But no HUD is a great example of something you can engage with if you want to, because it's a challenge. It gives your score
Like
more
scoring
opportunity
anyone?
to get better loot, but it takes away information going to the HUD. But
Yeah,
what it also does is it makes
honestly.
it feel very cinematic and interesting, and like you kind
I
of like
was
feel more
very
in tune with the
confused
character
with
and
the whole
gunplay.
like
And that's like a
customize
good
your own
analogy for what
activity,
we're intending
but
all
it's
the
very
modifiers selecting to do. That It's like going to
straightforward.
let you set up the situation like Nutty was
Like
talking
yes,
about. Like,
it's
oh,
still gonna
there's a
be
chill
like it's still
touch,
gonna take us a
but
while to get
I'm gonna,
used
like,
to it
have
because
wide
it's
where to
brand
counter
new
it
for
and
us.
create these cool little gameplay moments that are really like something that you choose for how you want to play.
But yeah,
for, like, really awesome.
that this
Yeah,
is
and-
actually
and
so
Alan,
much
when
more
we were talking
straightforward
through
than I
some of
thought
these
it was gonna be.
modifiers, like,
It's
we've
pretty
taken
cool. I won't
inspiration from
lie.
a ton of different places.
Yep.
Like No HUD in particular. Shout out to Sammy Cat.
Yep.
Called her out last week for all the bows we were showing off, but also
Yep.
No HUD.
And we're hoping to get a bows only loadout modifier coming in the future too. We really do want to look at how people are playing the game, whether they're creators playing on stream or people playing at home, and really try to let them set up the challenge for themselves, how they want to do, right? Whether it be challenge modifiers, stakes, or the boons.
Yeah. How often are we going to be adding more modifiers to the portal?
Well, we're going to have some new modifiers coming with events. And we're going to be adding new modifiers with the mid-season update with Ash and Iron.
Yeah, a major update. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been working on them pretty constantly along with the rest of the team. So it was like every few days that another either Bane would come online or modifier, and we'd have to go playtest that, which was a pretty big playtesting lift to try all these combinations and make sure that there aren't any rough edges when you combine some things that maybe we hadn't thought about when we were initially designing them.
Yeah, I'm sure there's stuff that players will find that we won't. We're accepting that.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
no,
we have our
absolutely.
challenge for Esoteric or Mork or a couple of the other high skill creators of what can you throw on to make this difficult and can you actually complete it?
Right.
So it'll be fun watching those playthroughs. Ben, paired with that, how often are we going to have more activities being added to the portal?
Yeah, so we want to like regularly refresh the portal on like so that,
I just realized
there's
the
stuff
shirt
coming
that
online
he's
like
wearing. You guys see
on
the
like
shirt that he's
somewhat
wearing?
weekly cadence. Like we're gonna
That's
have kind
from
of a weekly like
the
new stuff coming online
fires
for the
that
first few weeks, and then when events come in, they're gonna have big changes like lots of new modifiers or like portal wide like effects. There are some are going to come with activities as well, but we're also going to be every major update. We're going to have new activities that come in, and we're also going to have like shakeups of existing ops formats. And we're actually we're going to have a really cool new activity that's paired with an event at Ash and Iron launch. I'm not going to talk about it right now, but I think is really fun. That's going to be an exemplar of like, hey, we're shaking things up. Here's a brand new thing, in addition to all of like the classics and Destiny like Vault that we're bringing out.
Not just a new activity type that you've never
Activity
played
type,
before.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so this is all talking about like what you're going to be playing in the portal, and we're going to be moving on to power and progression. So what you're earning, which is people love loot. Nutty, thank you so much for joining us. I'd love to give you just anything else you want to say before you leave.
I definitely want to shout out the rest of the Sandbox team, not just those of us that were working on additional modifiers and bans, but like that playtesting lift. We had everybody across Sandbox disciplines in all of those playtests to try and hit as much of this as possible. And I wanted to re-emphasize how impactful some of the modifiers can be. Specifically, I'm thinking back to what we were just playing in live with attrition modifier in Prophecy Week 1, because when we moved to Prophecy Week 2, my fire team had gotten so accustomed to killing enemies and having a little health pickup on the ground that we had to play that final fight completely differently and use cover way more because we couldn't just kill some enemies and run through them to fill back up. Normally, I would think of attrition as a lot more of a challenging modifier, but it turned out that when we were toggling things off and on, it turned out to be more beneficial to us than we were anticipating.
I am still on the side of like attrition is challenging to me, and when it goes away, I'm like,
Break attrition.
Hey, fire team, let's let's go for it.
And if that makes it too hard for you to get your rewards, then just you toggle it off here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more about like what you're comfortable playing with, and also what your style is for, and your build, and what your mood is too. Like we're giving a lot of player agency to that.
Right, and speaking of player agency, so I would love to see your feedback, like what ones are you engaging with, what ones are you enjoying more, what ones feel like they are actually rewarding to do, and what ones feel like we could punch them up a little bit, because that's what we'll probably keep working on.
All right, well, thank you for joining us. Chat, everybody scream, thank you, Nutty. We're going to swap you off and get our power and progression individual in. So
thanks.
Thank you so much. While we're doing this transition, Ben, I would love to ask you, what activities could players find in Pinnacle Ops?
Oh, yeah. So Pinnacle Ops has at Edge of Fate launch, it is
Round of
going to
applause.
be filled with exotic missions. And some exotic missions from the past year and previously as well.
Don't know if I
that
got
are
it,
going to
Rebel.
be integrated into the whole Portal
This
experience. all the
is a
systems we're
lot-
talking about,
yeah,
all the
you love it,
difficulties,
I'm
all
glad.
the modifiers.
It is a lot of
and intended to be,
information.
like not only something
good,
that well, exotic missions, they're kind of hard, right? They have mechanics, they're long, and so we're matching that by being like, okay, well, you can get the exotic if you don't have it, first of all, just from playing on the Portal. It's available all the time. It's not like going through rotation like every week or something. And you can do Fireteam Finder, of course, to find people to play with. But look, we're really excited that it's like, oh, I can like play this as hard as I want or as easy as I want, whatever I want, whatever I'm feeling like right now. And we're gonna have more Pinnacle Ops in the future with Ash and Iron that we're not gonna talk about today. So it's actually a good example of like, hey, we're building this new section of the game that we're gonna just keep on building in and tinkering with over time.
Awesome. I sense a segue. We were talking about Pinnacle Ops
into the
and
next
Pinnacle
category.
Power. Hello, Josh. Welcome to the couch.
Hello. Hi, I'm Josh Galinsky. I'm a staff systems designer here at Bungie. Been here for about 5 years. And I really work with a lot of our loot, our gear, your power and progression, as you mentioned, like, you know, what are your rewards? What's the candy you get at the end of your activities and stuff like that? So we spent a lot of time reworking a lot of our stuff in the Edge of Fate and
Super cool.
Really 900 is what the internal thing is. We made big changes to how you engage with power in Destiny.
Yeah.
One thing you'll all notice is, I think many of our creators have already noticed in the past that there has been a power squish. We've reset players down to 10. Like, that is not only to give everyone kind of a fair and equitable starting place, and to kind of like reset the engagement with power. Also, 2020 power is not exactly the most friendly starting
not
point.
easy to understand if you haven't been along for the ride.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, like, this is the beginning of a new saga. It's the
2020
beginning
is very
of a new
overwhelming
thing
after that.
here. So we're starting off there. It gives like all Guardians on equal footing with each other, and allows us to kind of build up. You're going to have
That's why it just kind of feels
200
like
points
Destiny
of power
3.
in the soft cap band.
Intrinsic cap. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And you're going to be able to go and do any activity you want across the game in order to get to that point. Once you get past that, then you enter the seasonal bonus power band, which is where you're going to have to start doing more of the Portal activities and the Kepler like world tiers and stuff in order to get the power and progression that you want to get at that point.
Cool. So just to restate it, we're going to start at 10 when we launch. Every Guardian joining is going to be at 10. First 190 levels, so up to
scary.
200, that's going to be effectively your base power level. And then as you're going into more powerful activities, higher tiers, that's when you start going up and up.
Right, and you'll be able to get up to 450 power up until not Rise of Iron, but Ashen Iron. Once you get to that point in the season, then you're going to be able to go even past that.
Awesome. So when we're talking about seasonal power, is that replacing the artifact power that we have?
Exactly. Like, we did simplify power a little bit further by taking power off of the artifact, and that allowed us to take the power we had there and put it back into the gear. So really it streamlines it. It makes it so you're only worrying about your gear power as far as your engagement with that. So it just takes one additional level of complexity out of the system.
Yeah, and speaking
So
of
we're not
just
gonna
like
have
that
artifact power
climb,
anymore?
like our pinnacle sources have been updated to actually fit and give more agency, correct?
Absolutely. So one of the things I think, if you're a longtime Destiny player, you're very used to the Pinnacle grind. And you're also used to the limitations that the Pinnacle grind puts on you, and like some of the intricacies that come with that. Like, there's been many seasons in the past where, you know, I really needed that drop of the boots to come from the thing, and I do my Pinnacles, I didn't get my boots. Well, not only are you able to more target farm individual gear pieces now, but also the limit of the pinnacles is no longer a thing. We're going to have some challenges in the game that act as accelerators for you as a Guardian, so you can basically focus on those to get power, like more hits of powerful gear. But really, once you get past that, you can keep going.
Yeah, like everything in the portal is a source of pinnacle drops.
Exactly.
As much as you want.
Yeah, as many times as you complete
Wow.
it.
So
with
basically
it
we have
being
more
up to how
pinnacle
you perform
drops
and how challenging you
than
make the
usually.
activities to be how far you can go.
Right. It's gonna. You still have to achieve that score as you
Yeah.
go up in power for the higher difficulties, get that better loot.
Right.
And we'll still
no,
have curated
Artifact is not
experiences, correct?
leaving.
So if a player doesn't
We're
necessarily
still
want to
gonna
spend a
have
bunch of
Artifact.
time like creating that challenge, we have those offers too.
Yeah, yeah, and like we do have like
Get the little fire
matchmaking,
buddy. I do love the
which is like
Hellion.
set modifiers for every activity that.
I love
has
every
not-
Warlock
aside from
buddy.
Soul Ops. So Soul Ops doesn't have matchmaking,
Yeah.
but for fire
Yeah.
team ops, like
You still have
you
Artifact,
can
just no
match with
Artifact
players, so
power
their
boost. Nice
modifiers are
change.
set, and we
It's
also have playlists,
yeah.
modifiers are set,
I mean,
but
I'm
we
not
have more than
hating
that,
it
too.
at
We
all.
have conquests, and those are set.
It's interesting.
talk
It's an
about that
interesting
in a
minute.
change.
Yeah.
I get it.
Just
It's
a
kind of
fun
like
note,
we're
we've seen a ton
going
of
back
feedback
to
over the
how
years
it
about
kind of
players
was
wanna play Strike
before.
solo, and now
Oh yeah, yeah.
Does that
That's a
make
great point.
sense?
Yeah. So the we kind of going along with the idea of being player
You really
driven,
like that because it
if
cuts
you
that
don't wanna
grind
play
down.
a
It does
strike,
cut
like
that
a
grind down, yeah.
Grandmaster Nightfall
Right,
esque
it's like
strike,
it's a
or
revert.
even,
It
like,
is a revert,
the
yeah.
really, like,
We used to not
difficulties,
have
the other
artifact
players don't have
power,
to.
and we
You can
did.
just play
Now
by
we're going back
yourself.
to
You can
not
take as long
having
as you
it.
want within the confines of like the modifiers you've chosen to complete the activity and get the loot you have. So
I mean,
that,
I do
that falls
like
into,
it.
like, the,
I
what
feel
is
like
your
as
mood?
new
Like,
players,
what is it you're feeling like playing right now? And like of these options,
when they
like,
see
what's the
such a
feeling
higher
you
light
feel?
level, they're like,
Yeah,
well,
I
how
think
do you get that?
back to you, Josh, really
So
quick.
not having that
just
makes
from
it
a high
less
level,
confusing.
we talked about how Infusion is changing in the last blog, which, by the way, you should go read it. Can you give a high level for folks that didn't catch the blog? What's changing?
Yeah, at the highest level, upgrade modules are no longer a part of that infusion thing. They're still going to continue to exist in the game. They can still drop from legacy content, but you can dismantle those for, I think it's an enhancement core and like 1500 glimmer. And so, like, those are still there. We're going to have a new unstable core. Currency that's going to exist, and you're going to use that in addition to enhancement cores in order to, infuse your gear up for the season.
Okay, and a bit of glimmer too, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And really, at its core, it allows us to just have more texture over things. And one thing I should call out is that seasonal power does reset at the end of this thing, and players will be reset back to 200 when Renegades comes out.
Got it. Cool. Yeah, I think just last.
I like that.
Last note on the power climb. So
Unstable
during our
core for
reveal event,
Infusion. No
you
more
spoke
upgrade
about Crucible
modules.
and how you can actually power up in Crucible to kind of keep pace with your friends. Like, can you expand on that a bit?
Yeah. So there's a time in Destiny's past when you could just play Crucible a lot.
This boss
And
is
you
so
can get power,
tanky.
Great gear. You could like fold in with
I'm,
your
like,
friends,
sweating
play a
just
raid,
watching.
or the challenging content. And we've kind of lost that somewhat over the years. Like it's harder to like feel like Crucible is your identity and really feel like the game is rewarding you for that. So with Edge of Fate launch and the core game and the Crucible ops that we have, which is a bunch of playlists inside of it, you're going to be able to like start from that power 10 and just play Crucible, and you'll get power drops. You'll go up and you'll eventually get higher tier, be able to get like really great sets of gear that will then be as good as like anything else that you can find in the game. And you can just play Crucible all the way to the power cap if you want to. We are going to ask you to perform as you go to get more consistent rewards, but it's totally possible.
Yeah, and Josh, you mentioned before too. Of
It's
like,
good for the
trials
PvP
and
gamers.
competitive Crucible are going to be ways to accelerate. Right?
Absolutely. If you're putting yourself in the pools with the like higher skill players and challenging yourself, that's how you're going to get your faster rewards. And not to mention the Trials armor sets and stuff, like they're really cool this time around.
Yeah, we have a unique armor set for Crucible, for Trials. We have weapons, a bunch of cool rewards coming up, and we'll have a preview of that. One of our characters actually has Trials gear, if you didn't notice. But now we have a good moment to look at our seasonal
I
hub.
didn't notice.
Alan, I'm going to ask you to actually walk us through this.
Yeah, sure. If you notice a seasonal hub
Wait,
up
I wanna
there,
see it.
at the top of the
New
portal screen,
Trials
if you click
armor?
into that, you
New
come to the
Crucible
hub, which you're going to have a bunch of daily challenges and weekly challenges, and those are going to give you XP. They're going to give you Bright Dust. They're going to give you extra drops in on a portal activity, but it's going to give you progress towards the weekly reward track there. And the weekly reward track has lots of currencies and powerful drops on there, but it also has, if you tab to the next one, it's
like
going to
this.
have some Vanguard Armory and Arsenal tokens, which give you bonus drops from Zavala from the list of weapons or armor you can get from these activities that are going to be higher tier, and they're going to be a higher power than you can get from even getting the best grade in there. So you'll want to be doing these, and these refresh every week, and get 2 pieces of armor and 2 weapons every single week.
Yeah, and this track is free, correct?
Yeah,
This is all game.
It's all free. Everything in
That
the portal
looks
is
like
free.
from the
So if
tank
you scroll
versus
down
break
from here,
PvP
you're going to run
mode.
into the conquest
I love that this
Now,
is coming
these
back.
There's 2 on Expert,
like it.
2 on Master, and 2 on Grandmaster. And these are effectively your Grandmaster replacements in the portal. These are going to be fixed power, fixed modifiers, no fire team power, and you get really good rewards for completing it. You'll get 4 higher tier engrams for completing each one.
That are powerful. To give
Yeah,
you,
those are higher power, but you'll only be able to get it one time. But these are really about your journey through the season. As you level up, you can take
I was
on the
like,
first
yeah,
expert one, and then the
GMs,
next expert one, and then
that's
the
my
master,
home right
and then
there.
Master 2, and then finally the 2 Grandmasters. And with Ash and Iron, we're going to be bringing more Grandmaster and Ultimate Conquest, which will allow you to complete the Conqueror title.
Actually,
seal.
really quick gameplay team, if you could go back to the modifiers that you were just talking over. This was a really good example
go back
of
to
a
the
quality of life
GMs.
feature that came
No,
about.
no, no,
We
no.
saw a ton of feedback around modifiers, like I'm squinting at these icons, I don't really know what they mean, and now we have them bucketed based on the portal options, so you can more easily identify these things and understand them.
Yeah, and shout out to the UI UX team for like making a really much cleaner look for activity launch and having this cool bucket to look at them. Like, I think it's really good. Really good.
Cool. And then there was one more section on the seasonal hub, one more tab down low for the Conqueror Seal.
Yep. So the Conqueror Seal is down here. You're going to be completing the conquests during the season to earn and gild your Conqueror Seal. And since this is still the Conqueror Seal, it's going to maintain its old gilding. So this is going to be continual.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
14 seasons of Conqueror.
is
Now
that?
we're going to keep on going, baby.
Oh my God.
Awesome. So I'm going to say we still have a couple topics to cover. Fire team. Let's
I'm
go
confused.
ahead.
Are we still gonna
launch
have
into an
GMs?
activity in Fire team.
Yeah,
ops.
right.
Throw on a couple modifiers that you want to go for. Mix and match. I'd love for players to see as you go through how the
thank
score
God.
is changing, how the rewards can scale, all that kind of stuff.
I was
Just have a fun time.
I don't know.
For the
I don't
folks on
know.
the couch,
The triumphs just
we already
look
went through the
different.
seasonal hub, the rewards.
I got worried. It
We
wasn't
are
like
also having
New
a
Devil's
moment in time
Lair.
where Guardian ranks are resetting.
Yes.
Yeah, if I could get a quick overview.
Guardian
One
ranks
of you,
were
I believe
resetting?
Alan?
Yeah.
Yeah, Alan.
Yeah. So we took a look. So Guardian ranks when we launched them, the first few ranks were about learning the game, and then the upper ones were about your seasonal journey and dealing with all the different kinds of things a player might do in Destiny. So we've stripped a bunch of those away and rebuilt objectives to be focused completely on the portal. So it's going to be playing through the various activities, using modifiers, playing all the different conquests, gaining power, gaining all the different kinds of rewards. It's going to be really showing like where you're at in that seasonal journey but purely for the portal. It's not going to reflect any dungeons. You're not going to have to solo any dungeons. You're not going to have to get commendations. Let's see, what else don't you have to do?
No more expansion gates.
No more expansion gates, any of those kinds of things. So
I love
every player will be able
commendations,
to get
though.
up to Guardian rank 11 with Ash and Iron.
Yeah, in our original
They're
goals
changing
when we
the
were talking
objectives?
about Guardian
I
ranks,
think
it was
that's
kind of
good.
an on-ramp for players new
It's
or
something
even
new,
old.
you know?
Like, what
Not
do
having
I
to
wanna
go
do
for the
in
same
Destiny right
objectives
now?
every time.
Now we have a lot of stuff in the portal that dovetails into that. Solo dungeons, they still have unique rewards.
Oh, yeah.
They're no longer required for 11 in Guardian rank,
Correct.
but you can still get ghosts, sparrows, emblems, that
We're
kind of
not taking anything away from the dungeons. We're taking away things from the Guardian ranks and adding different kinds of things back in. And since we're doing that, the first 5 ranks will still be sort of an on-ramp into the game. So we're going to drop everybody back down to Guardian rank 2 with Edge of Fate and let them go from there. There will be lots of cool things to do and earn and play through in the first few ranks. And then starting with Ash and Iron and every season from then on, we'll reset you back to 6, just like we've been doing.
Awesome.
I'm actually
Yeah, just
excited
another,
because there's going to be
another
brand new
portion of,
objectives this time around.
What Robbie was talking about with
I'm excited for
aspiration, where
this.
it's like,
No
I have
wonder
my
they're
awesome
all
armor
ranked
from,
2. I
all
was
these higher
wondering
tiers.
that.
I have a new Guardian rank above my head. I've gone through the raid. I have this cool tier 5
been
weapon, et
wondering
cetera, et
that.
cetera. So there's a ton to hunt, a ton to chase, and a lot of things to do. And I think at this point, it's kind of the easiest to get into Destiny and just know what to play. So
Yeah, I absolutely believe that. And the exciting part is that everyone's journey through Guardian ranks is going to be kind of different because, a Guardian rank that tells you to accomplish this kind of power or complete this activity on this difficulty, how you did it will probably be pretty unique to you compared to other players because you chose different modifiers. There's different sets available for the given day or week, and maybe you did it solo, like we're talking about. Like, oh yeah, you soloed the master difficulty, like one of the requirements in Guardian ranks. Maybe you soloed on one of the conquests, and that's your story, and that's how you got it. But it's appropriate that there are a bunch of options for players to choose that match what their own experiences, what they want it to be.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. That actually brings us to the end of our Power and Progression. I believe, Josh, you actually had a couple more things
you
you
still
wanted
have
to say
more.
before we left, though.
Yeah, really, like, there's two things I want to say. One is that, you know, fire team power is definitely still a thing that's in this game. We really want to encourage you to play with your friends, and when you do play with your friends, if you're higher power level than them, that's another thing that can act as a nice accelerator for them and really, like, you know, increase the bonds of friendship. That's like a core part of the DNA of Destiny, is being able to play with fellow Guardians.
Yes. So as an example, if you're at a tier 4 and I'm only tier 2, I join you, we do a tier 4 activity. I still get tier 2 gear, but it's accelerating me faster into tier 3.
You're going to hit your score a lot easier, which is going to help you get
Okay.
those bonus rewards. And yeah.
Got it. Cool.
Okay.
And then your second note?
And yeah, finally, like, we made a lot of changes to the game.
I do
the
a
Edge
lot of
Fate.
raffles to help,
we're
so I was
definitely
actually
gonna be
worried about that
listening
part.
to you Guardians.
I'm
We're
glad it,
gonna
like,
be listening
still
to
works
the
out in a
data.
way.
We're going to be listening to a lot of stuff. This is just the beginning of a new saga. So we've got a lot to do in the future, and I'm really excited about what's coming our way.
Let's go.
Cool.
Yeah, great.
So
What?
I have a few bookkeeping
Triple
topics
grapple?
to hit before we go about the live game.
Wait, did Warlock not have
we've been
grapple
talking about
before?
the Edge of Fate. Right now, we have Rite of the Nine going on with our dungeons. And let's see here. Ooh, today...
I didn't realize.
54 minutes ago, we had a new engram go live, the non-airy engram. We introduced this in a previous TWID, but basically it's a new engram. You can earn a bunch of Rite of the Nine currency, sorry, and then purchase this engram for unique cosmetics that have been introduced over the past few years in Destiny. So if there are things like the skimmer that is Iron Banner theme, kind of, like the wolf theme, that's actually in there, and you have a chance to get that. There are some Crimson Doubles emotes and finishers and other cosmetics, so definitely dive in and check that out.
We're going in right
we
now.
had mentioned Lootapalooza. So a couple weeks just before launch, we're going to start showering players with loot. Starting today, we have double Crucible loot, which also applies to Trials of Osiris. So if you're hunting for adepts, if you're hunting for any gear in Crucible, now is a great time to go. And we also have, for the weekend, a lot of players have been asking, what maps are going to be featured? You got Dissonance, you got, Cirrus Plaza, and then you have the last one, which is Eventide Labs. We went through, we had a great conversation about what if we had some
No disjunction,
tech
but
maps
that's okay.
on a rotation for these last couple weeks. And for the final week of the season, we're going to have Burnout, Endless Veil, and community favorite, Javelin 4. So Trials players rejoice. Players that may not have ever played Trials, get in.
That's
going to
be a
get
good
some adepts,
weekend.
try it out and get some gear to loot up for the Edge of Fate. And the
That-
final note,
we need to play Trials on that
we are going to
one.
have all dungeons in the Rite of the Nine experience next week. Higher reward rates, higher currency rates, helping you get more of those drops, go into higher difficulties for your adepts, and potentially even get the hollow foil versions with additional perks.
Yeah.
So, awesome. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you all on the couch for joining us.
Thank you, Dylan.
Thank you, crew. Thank you, gameplay. Thank you, everybody behind the scenes. And players, everybody out there watching, thank you. We have 14 days until the Edge of Fate, 14 days until a new saga. It has been a wild ride over the last 10 plus years of Destiny, and now we're putting our toe in for the next however many years we keep going, you know?
Here we go.
Yeah, so thank you so much.
Woo!
Much love. We're going to be doing a raid over
Hopefully
to
10
our
more.
good friend Malachi, so if you want to stick around, talk about the stream, Malachi, we're handing it off to you. Thank you, everybody, for joining, and we'll see you next time.
Let's go! The music's so loud! Oh my gosh, I can't hear. Oh my god, what did we think? Honestly, that was so much information to take in. I'm not gonna lie. That was so much information. That was a great stream. I'm glad to hear. I agree. It was very informational. Please hold. I'm gonna pull up the VOD and we're gonna browse through it real quick. That is so much. When I brought up like GMs, for some reason it's like when I looked through the Conquer like Triumph stuff, it didn't look like the current Triumph stuff with Conquer, and I got really worried. I thought they were gonna kind of get rid of GMs, and I really was hoping not because I love GMs. So yeah. Man, oh man. Dude, the trailer! Yeah, should we rewatch the trailer? That was sick. When they were showing the trailer, I was like, what the frick are they showing? This does not look like Destiny. It originally did not look like Destiny. It didn't look like Destiny. It was like, what is happening? And then it was Destiny! Like, what? You know, Destiny's all about space. It's weird seeing, like, normal Earth like that. It's good.
You've never been there. And you know every inch of it.
The music is a vibe. That's sick.
It's the farthest either of us have been from home.
Aww.
In distance or in time.
Wow. Wait, in distance or in time?
An invitation only you can answer. And you'll say yes. They arranged it so you would never say no.
They arranged it so you'll never say no?
Choice is real. And every choice you make will lead you here.
As a hunter main, that was hot. It got really loud, I'm sorry. What? Isn't that so cool? It's just so different to our normal Destiny, I feel like. It is like completely different. What if it's the world that the Neomuna people are stuck in? Ooh, that would be crazy. The Matrix is coming to Destiny, right? Oh my gosh. It's so different to our normal Destiny, and I love it. I love it so freaking much. This trailer is absolutely awesome. I love it. It's like, who said that? Who said that? I did see somebody say that. Eric said in distance or in time. I did catch that as well. Physics is awesome. Physics is hella confusing. Surprised I didn't fail that class. I can't do physics, but it is super, super cool. Yeah, no, this is interesting, because he basically said, like, we sent you in an invitation, we know you're gonna say yes, because they basically made it so you can't say no. Like, what does that even mean? I don't have anything against with our light level that we have now, but I also don't have anything against with being put back down to, like, the hundreds of light level. What if, like, in the next 10 years, our light level is gonna be in, like, the 400,000, like, 400,375? Like, that's gonna get so confusing. I am excited. I think what Bungie's trying to do is they're trying to make it a lot more, like, new player friendly. I won't lie, it's not fully new player friendly, but I do think there is parts that they're adding in that is going to be new player friendly. I do think all of this is kind of confusing, but with the stuff that they showed today, it is pretty straightforward, and I think the more you play it, the more you might understand it. That's literally how every game works though. But the new portal home screen that they have, somewhere here, I can't find it, this is really hard to do. The new, like, portal screen that they have, I do think that that's for them to bring, like, or for new players to have a easier time finding their way around. The amount of people that come into stream and ask, like, what are pinnacles? How do I get these pinnacles? How do I level up? And for it to be, like, a specific square that you can press on specifically for pinnacle, and when you hover over it, it's like, hey, if you want to level up, this is where you go and play. I think that aspect is a lot easier. The light level might look less overwhelming We know we're in like the 2000s, so going back to 10 feels less overwhelming. So I can't agree that. But it's still like, I feel like they're trying to make it a little bit new player friendly, but not completely. Because then you have all of this. And then you have like all the stuff where you can change modifiers and banes and make it difficult and make it easier and do this and do that. Like that's gonna be kind of confusing for all of us because we're all new at it. So we just have to play it like every other game and get used to it and figure it out. So that part of it I feel like is less new player friendly. Oh my gosh, wow, I perfectly paused here. Wait, what the frick? Isn't that has to be the raid entrance. This has to be the raid entrance, right? Or am I tripping? Could this not be the raid? There's literally 6 people. This has to be the raid entrance, right? You like the aesthetics? It is raid! Okay, I'm like, I swear no Destiny, right? This has to be like a preview of the raid entrance. Ah, let's go! I'm so excited! Oh my gosh. Or, I guess you're right, it could technically also be a 6-man match-made activity. Or it could be the raid! You know what this looks like? Nuh-uh. You know what this looks like? This literally looks like Ride of the 9. Kind of. Anybody else seeing like Ride of the 9 vibes? This is literally like the current yes, the 9 area! Yes! Yes! It looks like the 9 area. Does that mean our raid is gonna be like kind of about the 9 or something like that? Like it's 9 themed? Dude, that'd be sick. We're getting like a prophecy themed raid. I like the purpose of it. It looks clean. It looks organized. It's very like straightforward. Current expansion, seasonal hub, button for tower, all these different tabs and everything. You have all these things. It's like, oh, I need pinnacle stuff. Click on that. Choose any activity you need. I get that. It's very organized. I like it. I am glad they're not getting rid of World, though. I just wish World was the first page you would pull up. But it's okay. It's okay. I'm glad it didn't go anywhere. I like my planet page. Maybe this is me just not wanting it to change. I love the planet page. Every time a new DLC came out, there was like these new hidden things around the planet page of like these secret little designs, or a new planet appeared or something like that. Or you see a crash or something. Like there's really cool effects they did do with it. I love the planet page. You know, Destiny's all about like planets and flying somewhere and different like regions and this and this and that. Really happy they didn't get rid of it completely. Maybe this is just me not wanting change, but I do wish that World was the first page you would open up, and then you could just switch over to Portal if you wanted to. There's so much information in here. Oh! How am I perfectly landing on these really good like previews? That's the new Trials armor? We can't see much of it. It's a warlock, I can see that. There's a trial symbol on the belt. The helmet seems cool. It's just really hard to see the helmet, I won't lie. It's really hard to see the entire outfit, but it looks cool. That's it? What do you mean that's it? Imagine it being of a down guardian. Oh, man. Is that what it was, Cooknosend? Everybody was telling me, like, hey, there's a, like, grapple. Warlocks have grapple now. I was like, didn't Warlocks always have grapple with Strand? I was so confused. I get it now, though.
And these are kind of like the scale. Ooh, we just got... Sorry, just got... Yeah, try to get through that security grid, and he did not make it. Yeah. Each of these...
Ooh. It's got shoulder stuff happening. Unless that was an exotic. Hi Clacky, how are you? No, yes, everybody was pointing out the grapple thing, and I don't think I caught up Wait, where was it? I don't think I caught that this was
Just the
part of
beginning
Prismatic.
the new saga. So we've got a lot
Yeah,
to do
Song
in the
of
future,
Flame.
and I'm really excited about what's coming
3
our way.
grapples, by the way.
Cool.
3 of them.
So I have a few bookkeeping topics to hit.
Down there you can see the heavy and the special bar. I don't see the transcendence bar though.